The following video has been put together by the National Farm Attraction Network and is designed to help its members operate a safe lambing event.
This video is designed to work in parallel with a NFAN Code of Practice video. The most recent figures published in 2017 were that in the last 25 years there were 105 outbreaks, with 1,076 children affected. 56% from Cryptosporidium and 42% from E. coli 0157. The big rise in the number of crypto outbreaks has been linked to the rise in lambing events hosted across the UK. E. coli 0157 is more prevalent in the summer months.
Hosting a lambing live event can be extremely beneficial to a farm attraction. Activities such as bottle feeding are really popular with the public. It is also one of the more risky activities that you will conduct as a farm attraction. However, if planned and operated correctly, in line with this video, it should present no more risk than any other activity that you currently conduct.
Some animals carry diseases that can be harmful to humans. Often the animal can appear healthy, so you must assume that on the farm, any animal could be carrying these diseases. It is important that you and your team understand the risks. More information can be found at the NFAN Industry Code of Practice Guide, which can be downloaded at this website.
As with every activity that you lay on at your farm attraction for your guests, you have a duty of care to ensure that it is run safely and in line with your company's health and safety policy. A risk assessment must be conducted before you start your activity.
A risk assessment would typically involve identifying how the public could be exposed to microorganisms and the likelihood of it happening, the possible consequences of this risk, what measures need to be taken to reduce the risk to an acceptable level. The risk assessment would indicate the need to carry out further assessment after a specified interval, or whether as a change in activities provided. It should be reviewed regularly to verify that the risk mitigation strategies are in place and are working.
It is important that the risks involved in any animal contact activity, such as lambing, are effectively communicated to your guests. This can be done in a number of ways.
Information handout given on entry to the park. Signposts in the animal contact area. Keeper and staff briefings.
It is vital that your penning setup keeps faeces, afterbirth and runoff away from clean public areas. This can be done as shown in the Industry Code of Practice video, with a little bit of thought and farmer's intuition.
Ensure your pens prevent contamination to reach clean areas. Keep birth ewes and lambs away from the public for a minimum of 48 hours. Ensure all penning is wiped with disinfectant daily, or when it has been contaminated.
If you intend to conduct a lamb feeding activity, it is recommended that you do not use newly born lambs. It's important to remember the younger the lamb, the higher the risk.
As there is a risk of fetal contamination occurring, constructing a separate area to run this activity is wise, so as visitors do not come into contact with any faeces. Do not let visitors into the area where lambs live. Ideally, you should feed the lambs behind a fence. If this is not practical, then the lambs need to come into an area for feeding and then back to their living quarters. This feeding area should be cleaned after each session. Make sure any gates or hurdles are disinfected daily or after each session. A safer and more effective way to conduct lamb feeding is a keeper demonstrated talk, where your guests don't come into contact with the lambs. Pregnant women must not come into contact with newborn lambs or ewes that have recently given birth. Staff should make sure they adopt strict hygiene procedures, such as washing hands, disinfecting boots, and changing clothes after coming into contact with lambs and sheep. While the primary control measures should focus on reducing and eliminating fecal contamination, the most effective method of removing dirt and contamination remains hand washing with hot and cold or warm running water, followed by hand drying, ideally using paper towels. Soap bars can easily be dropped on the floor. Liquid soap is a much better solution. Washing facilities should be provided at or near the exits of any area or premises where visitors are encouraged to have animal contact. Cleansing wipes or gels are not an acceptable substitute. and should not be present to avoid confusion for proper hand washing. If you have a question, make use of the members only area of Facebook and get the views of other operators.
We hope that you've enjoyed this short video and we wish you a safe and successful lambing event. More information can be found at the National Farm Attraction Network's website.